Hey everyone, my name is Mel, and I'm extremely honored to be invited and asked to come share my story on this. Who am I? On paper, I am a leader of a team that helps people in pain get back to normal naturally, so avoid surgery, injections, pharmaceuticals, and get out of pain in a more natural way. I'm also an ultramarathon runner, and so this looks like running different distances, anywhere from 100 kilometers to 200-mile races to 7-day stage races to across the world. And one of the things I want to share during this time is something that I've lived through. I've learned the hard way more than once, and I'm sure I'm going to learn the hard way again and get the reminders more than once in the future too. And that's this concept of pivot, don't pause. So in my circumstance, looking at my ultramarathon running side, I had a bunch of races scheduled out for this year, anywhere from local in Canada, so if you hear me say a boot, that's why, and anywhere down into Europe in August, a 7-day stage race. And because of this time that we're in 2020 with the COVID pandemic, obviously it's changed a lot for us and things that are out of our control. And for me, that's looked like a lot of canceled races or deferred races to 2021. And that was really hard for me because I've used these races as a motivator for staying healthy, training, and they've also been absolutely big mental breakthroughs for me. When you're out on a trail and it is hour 42, you learn a lot about yourself because you're so raw physically, you're so broken down, and you're stuck out on this trail just listening to your own voice in your head. And so for me, I was actually pretty fearful. Am I going to still be able to have that experience and work towards these passions and values? And it would have been easy for me this year just to cross off all of those goals on my list and those races just because they couldn't happen anymore. But what I learned was, instead of just pausing, was pivot. So what I mean by that is, even though I had to cross something off because plan A didn't go according to the way I thought it was, doesn't mean it's the end of going after that goal. It's just a roadblock. It's not a dead end in the road. And what I had to do is figure out, what did I want to write next to that? And so what that looked like for me was actually creating my own races where it's just me out on the trail, so social distancing is a given. And it's more local ones of areas I've always wanted to explore anyways. And I can make it still as tough as I want it in order to hit those things I do value in ultramarathon and running. And so that looks like running around a massive local lake for me here and creating my own race course too. And that's allowed me to continue also to still work on my training and that physical aspect and that physical health too. And I think that's one thing that we all need to consider during this time is, where those things where they are out of our control, maybe plan A isn't feasible anymore. But instead of just saying, I give up on it now, is figuring out another way that you can still go after that. It's just a different route than according to plan. It may cause us to get creative. It may cause us to also do something we've never done before. And I know for myself in those times, it's easy for a voice to come up and say, oh, well, I have a greater chance of failure now because I've never done this before. But for myself, looking back, and I'm sure if you look back too, at times you have failed in the past, would you actually take those back? And I know for me, I wouldn't, because they've been the times where I've learned the most. They've been the times where I've gained some of the best blessings from too. Even though the time it absolutely sucked, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I gained so much from those. And so because I'm thankful for my failures in the past, why am I so fearful of the failures in the future that I'm going to hit? I know they're inevitable. I am going to fail in the future. I just don't know when and where and what it's going to look like. But I also know I'm going to get amazing lessons from those. And so watching that voice when that comes up and not being afraid to fail forward, because failing forward also still means you're going forward. And this is a huge time for that right now. And I think that if you can look at that list of things that maybe you did use this as an excuse to just stop going after those goals, is bring that back on the table. Even if you just scratch out plan A, what does plan B look like? What does plan C look like? That still go after that why you started in the first place, that still deliver that purpose at the end of the day. They just look a bit differently. And in understanding too, that even if fears start coming out that, hey, I'm not good enough, I have a high risk of failure here, anything like that, that's okay. And just fact check those too. So if that voice does come up saying, I don't know if I'm good enough for plan B, I don't know if I have the strength or I'm smart enough for that, is actually fact checking that. Has anyone told you before you aren't smart enough? And even if they have, how would they know that? If you've never done it before, you don't have the evidence to say, yes, that absolutely is a fact. And so understand the times when you're trying to self-sabotage yourself and figure out a way to get yourself out of your own way and start running towards it again. It's okay if you fail during it, because you're going to fail forward. Hopefully that helps a bit. That is just my story and things I absolutely believe in during this time. I think it's a great time for reflection, also a great time for us to take action. Even if it feels like a time where it's harder to take action, you still absolutely can control that. And I'm honored again to be able to share my story on here. Thank you for having me. I hope some of this helped. If you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, anything around this, I absolutely love talking about it. You're more than welcome to reach out to me on any of my social channels. And good luck with everything, and exactly do what you can during this time, and remember, pivot, don't pause. Thanks so much.